I once made the expensive mistake of targeting the wrong people, the kind that would never answer, or super slowly, or worse, they would answer, said they were interested, but they were not. So I was wasting my time, my energy, my money, budget, and all my hopes, just because I was targeting the wrong people. So today, I want to share you exactly what I wish I knew in order to launch your SaaS or service and reach the very best target customers. Quick disclaimer, this is for B2B and this is for the pre-launch phase, so go-to-market for the planning. If you're already established and you have paying customers and you're more trying to clarify who your ideal customers are based on this experience, I'm gonna make a separate video. This video is for the planning. You can still watch it, but it's a different one. I mean, you can watch the other one as well. So I'm gonna show you the framework I used for this stage of growth. So how to find your first audience, your most profitable one, at least in terms of theory. And I'm gonna give you concrete examples, plus a bonus tip at the end. So you make sure to watch until the end, the watch time, of course. And remember to like and subscribe, you know the drill. Thank you for your support. So before we dive into the framework, which has 3 components, I'm gonna first make sure we are aligned on why you should have a specific target audience. If you're targeting the whole market that could want your SaaS or your service, your offer, if you target everyone that could need your solution, you're gonna hit a wall. You're gonna face so many different signals, direction. It's gonna dilute your value because your message is gonna be really unclear. If you're trying to target different people at the same time, you have to use different language, different value proposition, different use cases. It's just splitting your efforts in all directions, and it's actually diluting your chances to win. It's like you were explaining your job if you're working in the tech sector, which is quite weird to understand when you're not in the tech sector. Try to explain to your family, colleagues, peers, boss, everyone at once. It's so super hard. It's way easier to explain it to one person at a time. And it's the same for your target market. It's easier to start somewhere, to have a small, strong effect, to have people that will want your size right now, they will pay for it right now, they will want to, and they will use it and then recommend you, and they can leverage it to compound and get more and more big market shares, rather than target the whole market at once. So we're trying to define today who should be your best customers to reach out first in order to get revenue and then expand. So, the framework. It has 3 components, and I'm gonna dive into each of them before giving you the final tip. The first one is targeting people who are facing a problem. Everyone's telling you this, but it's not enough. Because not every problem is worth solving. Everyone should practice any sport, some type of activity to stay in shape and to make sure they're healthy. But not everyone is doing it because the problem is not strong enough. So we are targeting a pure problem. Pure means a problem that's painful, so you can see a concrete pain at not solving it. So it's going to be a time loss or a money waste or something, or risk, something that shows this problem is worth addressing. You have to recognize it, because sometimes you can lose money and time but not recognize it and not want to fix it because the problem is not really completely clear in your head. That's quite normal. Like the health problem. I know I'm gonna have diabetes if I keep, I don't know, eating sweets, but if I don't really realize the danger of having a health problem, I won't act on it. And the last one is urgent. Again, for the health problem, if we keep on the same example, I know I have to get in shape to get to live a longer life, but because there is no deadline on when I will face the consequences of not doing any sports, I won't do it. It's as simple as that. People are as simple. You just want to have sure the problem is something that have an issue that's urgent and proven and will have a deadline soon. That makes it easier for people to want to solve it. Whereas if you have no deadline at all, even if they know they have to solve it, they won't act on it. Especially in B2B, sometimes, if you're targeting founders, like I'm doing, you have tons of problems. Which one do you solve? depending on your budget, the timing, etc. And having something that's strong plus with deadline gives you some a reason to do it. This is from Pierre Rebel, if you want to check out. He's doing great content on LinkedIn. Just to give Caesar, This is the start, because even if the problem is urgent, recognized, etc., that won't prove I'm going to pay to solve it. That's the second part of the framework. You have to clarify people are willing to pay for a solution. They have to pay to get rid of it. Like again, with health, I'm gonna keep this example of the sport. Even if I know I'm gonna have to solve my health problem, I have to do some sport and stay in shape. I won't pay for a coach. I'm just gonna run and eat better food and take care of my health. There is no proof that I'm willing to pay for a solution for this problem, even though the problem is urgent, recognized, etc. So what you're trying to see if the first people you're trying to target are already paying for a problem or for a solution like this. If there is no proof they are already paying or willing to pay for one, that's going to be way harder for you to push them to act and to just do it them like it's way harder to explain to someone they have to take action, whereas it's way easier to target someone who's already in action. Like if I'm targeting an athlete, it's way easier to sell him something on coaching than someone that never did any sports. Because they didn't face the problem or didn't realize how paying for a solution would help them solve the problem better. An example for the SaaS service industry, you can look at alternatives, people who are already paying for a solution like yours. If they are paying for an indirect alternative, maybe if you're selling a SaaS that does, I don't know, copywriting, are they already paying for a copywriter? Are they already paying for an agency? Is there any proof that they're actually willing to put some money on the table to solve this problem? That should give you a good indication on who in your whole target audience are the ones that would have some money for you to reach out for, to aim for. And the last part, that's why would they, if they have a problem and they're willing to pay for a solution, why would they give it to you? That's because the solution there right now is not enough. So they are frustrated with the existing solution. And that's the most important part of the framework. Because if they are frustrated with the existing solution, it proves they are already trying to solve the problem. So it proves the two other points, so that they are willing to pay for a solution and they already have a problem they know of and they want to solve. And it shows a gap. It shows where you can be a better input. You can have a differentiator, something that puts you ahead and shows why you're valuable. So the frustration is really the key. If we take again the sport example, someone who's paying for online coaching, but is not seeing any result from applying the advice from the online coach. Well, if you sell something that's really highly personalized, like a SaaS that's really with AI and maybe a real coach behind it, that'll show why you're better than the existing solution and you can solve the gap of achieving what they're trying to achieve in the first end, in the first part. So in your industry, try to look for the problem you're solving, understanding more, understand the context for the pure problem that shows there is a deadline and there is something people know it's painful. Only target people who have the money for it and they will want to spend that money. So look at people that are already spending their money in relatively similar or indirect or close solutions. And among people that are paying for a solution like yours, look at those who are frustrated, who could be frustrated. That means those who are complaining, like on online, like on G2 or any online form, or who have a solution that you know is not as good as yours. If you know you're building something that's better than the number one of this specific use case, just target the customers. That's your chance for to get a real proof of your value, because these people are the ones that will understand your value better than others. If you combine all of this, you will have people that will know the problem, know why a solution like yours matters, and why yours is more valuable than others. That's why these three components are the key. But there's one thing we have to add. In your case, because you're doing a go-to-market launch, you're targeting people for a new solution. You're launching something that's new. I'm guessing. You have to target a specific kind of people. if you target all of these components, but people are not really tech savvy. They are more like, sorry, but old people that don't want to use any new thing. They really resist the change and they don't want something too new. They are kind of resisting any kind of, maybe they're against AI or I don't know what kind of belief they have. You won't sell anything. So you have to go one step further, and all of these criteria, you have to add the psychological behavior, the beliefs. For example, when we talk about market adoption rates, we have the first early adopters, so people in the tech bubble, in the tech space we live in, like you and I are probably. People that know they want to try new tech, they really want to discover new things, they really like the hype, they can onboard by themselves, they are used to technology, to using a computer and everything. And then there is the early or late majority, which is the rest of the the rest of the people. If your first target audience is not in the early adopters, it's going to be way harder for you to pitch something that's new. So even if you keep the same component as before, try to reach out to people that are already in the space of new technologies, they are ready to try new tools, etc. That could be people who are quite young, who are trying new things. You can see they are putting reviews. They are ready to put some testimonials on other SaaS platforms. It's really the difference between your early customer profile, the one that you should target when you're early, your first ones, versus the one that you're ideal for the long run, which will be the ones you will get later on when you will have enough revenue to be stable and to reach out for bigger accounts. This visual is from Maja Vosges. I don't know if I pronounced it well. Super great if you want to follow on resources on go-to-market. There's one last bonus tip. If you want to go deep on this and if you want to clarify even more your target customers so you can have the best one that will actually want to offer, clarify their belief and psychological behavior. And doing so, I recommend doing an anti-persona. It means that who actually, in everything we have been listing so far, so the problem, willing to pay, frustrated with the solution, and in the early adopters kind of profile, who is not your target customers? They're probably something around beliefs. Like if you're targeting people maybe on around the head count thing, like if you're like an AI thing that's for management, but even if they are in the early adopters and you have everything we listed above before, maybe some of them will be against using AI for management. That's just something we don't see. It's a belief, it's a psychological thing. But in your listing, in a way you precising who your audience is, who your first target customers are, it's efficient to then find out seeing who is actually the best fit for you. If you target these kind of people who don't believe in the same thing as you, in terms of for your offer at least, in your perspective, that'll be probably harder to sell and also a high churn. Whereas if you talk to people that are really a great fit, they believe the same thing as you. Like if you keep this example of AI, AI is the future of management to assist managers to do more at scale. Maybe you have a better fit with them and they will stay longer and get your value proposition. So that was the last tip. To summarize everything, your ideal first target customers are facing a pure problem, so painful, urgent, recognized, ready to pay for a solution. You have proof of that. Maybe they're already paying for something, and they are frustrated with their current solution because it's only partial. You have to really target a gap. And bonus, I hope that was helpful in terms of clarifying who your first target customers are, in terms of to make sure you're profitable, efficient, etc. Let me know in the comments if you have any question, and if you can please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, that would be great. Thanks a lot, have a good day, and have a good go-to-market. Bye-bye.